Speak kindly to yourself. Good morning and happy Wednesday. It's actually Wednesday today. First of all, welcome back to my channel. To those of you that are new here, my name is Jacoby, or Co if you're into that, and you're watching a girl in her 20s just trying to make it into her 30s with her sanity and her sense of self. I have a little bit of a different video today. As I mentioned a couple vlogs ago, probably I did want to create a video talking a little bit about my fitness journey, kind of all my phases of that, kind of where I am now. And since it is the new year, I know a lot of people are starting to try to better their lives and get into the gym and, get on their own fitness journey. So I did want to share a little bit about my journey, share some things that I've learned, things that have worked for me, and just give you all a couple of, I won't say tips, but some advice coming from somebody who did used to really struggle with that. So we're gonna do this in 3 different parts, chapters, or whatever you want to call it. First, I'm going to talk about, give y'all a little bit of history, talk to y'all a little bit about my journey with fitness, kind of where it started, kind of all the phases that I've gone through of trying to be consistent with working out and things like that. I'm going to second talk about what's working for me now, what my routine is, what all goes into my current fitness regime, my current fitness routine. And then third, I will talk about my advice and things that I would tell myself if I could go back to the beginning of my fitness journey. So first, we're going to talk about my journey with fitness and weight. So I have always been plus sized. I think that, for as long as I can remember, I've been overweight, plus sized. I try to not use like any negative terms about it, which we will talk about a little bit later on in the video. But that was just my life. That was just who I was. That was a part of the brand, and that's just what it was. And if I'm being honest, I did have a lot of insecurities associated with that. I think that those insecurities definitely became more prominent and more of a conscious thought, of course, around middle school. Middle school is terrible. Everybody, I think it's funny that it's so universally known that middle school is just a terrible time for everybody, because I think that's when you really becoming a conscious self. You really becoming into this person, and you're really starting to have these experiences that are formative. I feel like middle school is probably the most formative time of your life. Middle school, some people can argue high school, but honestly, I feel like middle school is the foundation. But that's not really what we're here to talk about. But yeah, around middle school is when I really started being a lot more conscious about my weight, about the way that I looked, and really even started being teased about that. Like I use the term bully very loosely, but I was definitely targeted because of that in some ways. So yeah, it was something that was a big insecurity of mine for a long time. I kind of sort of got over it, quote unquote, as I got older, just kind of settled with it. But yeah, it was definitely a source of my insecurities. I do not know what my heaviest weight was. I will say that when I did start at my gym that I go to now, I was 219. I want to say I was, but I had definitely been heavier than that at some point. I want to say at some point I was like in the 230s, something like that. I won't give an exact number because I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, all that to say, I have always been on the bigger side. I've always been plus size. I've always fit into that category. And it wasn't for lack of trying. I'll say, I think that especially when I got to like junior high and high school, I started being a lot more conscious of it. So I did make efforts to work out, efforts to kind of get the weight off. it went in phases. I think that at first I was kind of scared to be seen trying. I think that that's a thing for a lot of people. They're scared to be seen trying to do better. They're scared to be seen trying something new and trying to do something that they haven't done before. So I think that it started with me just like doing sit-ups in my room, and I think that's funny because I've been seeing the short that people are doing. I recently just got back on social medias and I saw this short that people are doing, like, oh, when your family catches you and you're trying your new year new me thing, and it's like somebody like in their room doing sit-ups. So that was literally me. I don't know that it was at the new year. Like I said, this was like back in junior high school, but like, I would literally just like do 100 sit-ups in my room at night before going to bed, and that was my workout, and that's what I did, and that's kind of where it started. It evolved from there. I think that after that I started trying to do like workout videos. There was this hit video, like hit exercise videos that I would watch on YouTube. I would do those. I also at my church back in Palm Bluff, there was some gym equipment in our gym, in our church gym, and my dad was actually, like, I don't know if I want to call him the head deacon, but he was the deacon, like a deacon at the church, so he had keys. So like sometimes I just like ask him for the keys and go up there and kind of do a little bit of working out. I also did some home workouts. I did other videos. One that I really liked that I did for a while was Mike Peel, the Hip Hop Fit. Shout out to Mike Peel. I did his videos for a while. I think that they were great. Honestly, I did another one of those like the other day because I didn't feel like doing my cardio at the gym, so I came home and did a hip hop fit Mike Field video. But yeah, all of that was really in solitude and in a place where I felt not so exposed. Like I said, that was a big obstacle for me to overcome, is not wanting to be seen, not wanting to be seen trying, not wanting to be seen really, really trying to do that. I even, when I was working out in my church gym, had this little hashtag that I did. I posted, and I'm going to put like the picture over here somewhere, but I was like, hashtag no more CB, and it was no more cuddle bear, pretty much. Like, when people would do like, I remember it, to be honest, in middle school, when people would do my to be honestes, they always be like, oh, like, you're cute and you just seem like so cuddly and like you give the best hugs, like stuff like that. Like, girl, just say that I'm okay. Anyway, I had this whole thing in my head. I was like, girl, like, this is not going to be my life anymore. Like, I'm gonna be young and hot. Like, what are you talking about? Like, cuddle bear. Like, I'm a grown. No, I wasn't grown in, but like, that's not my ministry, babe. But yeah, I had all of those different phases of like starting working out, but for one reason or another, they kind of phased out. Like, one day I just wouldn't do it and never do it again, or maybe it was something that made me miserable. Maybe it was something that just wasn't really sustainable. Like, for example, the hit workout videos I was doing, like, I would do those when I was getting off of work at like my little grocery store job, and I would literally be standing up at work all day and then come home and do this high intensity training video, and it would make me miserable. And eventually one day I didn't feel like doing it, I didn't do it, and I just never did it again. So I think that was a big part of it for me. And I will say that is the first piece of advice I will give, briefly, because I will talk about all of my advice in my third point at the end of the video. But it's really important to find something that you can enjoy, something that you can look forward to, and something that is sustainable for you. Because if you're doing something that's making you miserable, if you're doing something that makes you hate yourself, then you're not going to want to do it, and you're not going to do it the first time that it's convenient for you not to do it. So moving into this next point, that was pretty much my journey. In 2023, I moved to Little Rock. I moved here to Little Rock for my job, my first job at a college. And once I got settled into my job here, I want to say in about September of 2023 is when I started going to the gym. That is when I started my gym girl era. Like, that's when I started at 10 Fitness. Shout out to 10 Fitness. Love 10 Fitness. And I want to say September of 2023. I'll fact check that. But yeah, I started, the trainer there then was named Jenny Bradford, I want to say her name was, and she onboarded me. And I think that a part of the reason that I was able to stick to it is I think that when I talk to her, I don't know if this is just a thing that they say to people or, you know, if it's just like part of her trainer's career, but I know one thing that she said to me is she was like, you seem like a very dedicated person. And I know that if this is something that you're really going to want to do, then you're going to do it. And, you know, she, you know, kind of spoke those words into me. And I'm a big words of affirmations person. Like, I had to learn that my love language is really words of affirmation a little bit later in life. But, well, later in life, Jacoby, you're 24. But she told me that like when we did our first like onboarding like little training session, and it was just, she really did just speak life into me, quote unquote. So yeah, all of that, we now is 2023 and we are in the gym, babe. We're in the gym. And I will say that at first it was a little bit nerve-wracking. I think that my desire to not be seen was counteracted by the fact that in the gym, everybody's trying. In the gym, everybody is here to more or less do the same thing. Like, we're here to better ourselves, we're here to work out, and we're here to, you know, kind of work through whatever it is that make us feel like we want to wreck our bodies every afternoon. So that is my fitness history up until, I won't say where we are now, but where this chapter of my fitness journey started. So second, I want to talk about kind of where I am now, what works for me now, and kind of how we getting through. So like I said, I started at the gym in September of 2023. When I first started, I, as anybody, was kind of lost, just kind of going in, playing around with machines, doing whatever. But one thing that really helped me in the beginning with kind of figuring out what workouts to do and kind of where I wanted to start, what areas I wanted to hit, was content. The first person that really resonated with me and stuck with me, and I'll talk a little bit about some of the influencers that I like, because it's a lot of fitness content and influencers out there now. But Talia Joelle. I mentioned Talia in, I want to say, one of my vlogs, and I was talking about how she like recommended the Soft Sculpt, and she'll tell you a joke, but she'll never tell you a lie. I love Talia. If Talia, not that I think that you're gonna see this, but Talia, love you down. Like, girl, you the one, you know? But yeah, I think that Talia was probably the first fitness influencer that really resonated with me. I saw like one of her upper body workout videos, and I pretty much just modeled my workout after that. I was like, hey, this is what she doing, she looks great, let's do it. And that's pretty much how I figure out all my workouts. I have a Pinterest board where I have different workouts and things that I want to try. I see things on YouTube and things like that, and I just kind of think about what I want to try. I have a 2-to-1 split. What I do as far as my workouts, I go to the gym 5 days a week. So I go to the gym. First of all, I go to the gym after work. People will try to gaslight you and say, oh, like, you need to go in the morning, whatever. First of all, you need to do what works for you. Because me, I cannot, well, I won't say I can't, but it would be a lot harder for me to be consistent. Going back to what I said earlier about not doing stuff that makes you miserable, I would be miserable if I had to wake up and go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, because I am not a morning person. Now, I'm growing into being a morning person. I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning now. I make my breakfast. I have me a slow morning. I get ready. I get to work on time. But if I were to go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, first of all, my gym is, I don't live at my gym. So I'm going to have to wake up out the bed at least 4:30, get dressed, get to the gym, which is at least like 10 minutes. It's really not 10 minutes, but if I ask my GPS is probably going to say it's 10, 15 minutes from here. First of all, I got to get up. I got to brush my teeth. I got to make sure that I'm looking okay, because I'm not going to, well, I won't say I'm not going to go to the gym looking any type of way, because that's not necessarily important. But I've definitely grown into the type of person that like to look cute when I go to the gym, because I feel like I'm going to be checking myself out the whole time anyway. So I might as well look good while I do it. I do all of this stuff to get ready to go to the gym, which is going to take at least 20 minutes. And then I got to get to the gym. So now it's 5 o'clock. I get to the gym. I'm at the gym for like 2 hours. It takes me like 2 hours to work out. But that's because I do my weightlifting, I take my breaks, and I always end off my workout with at least 20 minutes of cardio. So it's taking me at least an hour and a half, 2 hours to go to the gym. 5 o'clock, I get to the gym. But by some stretch of a miracle, at 5 o'clock, I'm at the gym and not still in the bed. I'm at the gym for at least an hour and a half to 2 hours. Matter of fact, I'll say an hour and a half. 6:30, I'm leaving the gym. Get back to the house about 6:45. Come in. I got to eat breakfast, which is going to take at least an hour for me to cook breakfast. Well, I won't say an hour, 30 minutes. It's going to take me at least 30 minutes to cook breakfast or fix breakfast, eat my breakfast, and then I got to get ready for work. And I got to be at work at 8 o'clock. Let's say 7:15. Till 7:15, I'm eating my breakfast. And then I'm supposed to get ready for work and get there in 45 minutes. That's just not happening. It's not. But at this point in my life, I know myself, and I'm doing what work for me. I'm going to the gym after work. It's like an after work crowd or whatever, but I don't necessarily mind it, but it's also what I'm used to. It also keeps me from, I know that I am a big snacker, and if I come home after work, just be sitting around most of the time unless I, decide to be productive and do something. But when I come home, I want a little snack. I'm an idle snack because I'm just sitting at home and I got snacks here. So I think that going to the gym in the afternoon also stops me from idly snacking. Next thing that's working for me, I'm going to say the N word. I know we hate to hear it. And I'm so sorry that I have to say it to you. But the second thing that really, really works for me, while I feel like over the past year, I made a lot more progress than I did in my first year of going to the gym. Nutrition. I'm sorry, but nutrition. You hear it. People tell it all the time. I literally hear it all the time about how, nutrition is the real key. Like, if your diet is trash, you're not going to see any progress. And like I said, we hate to hear it. We all want to eat. We want those French fries. We want those chicken nuggets. We want that pizza. We want all this stuff because it tastes good is what we're used to eating. And, this is America, But I think that once I really locked in to be more focused about my nutrition, about what I'm eating, and it doesn't have to be anything crazy. I think that I have made a point to not be over restrictive in what I eat. Like, if I want a little treat here and there, I'm gonna have that, and I'm not gonna completely cut out the foods that I like to eat, because if I do that, then again, I am just going to be miserable, and I am not going to want to keep doing it, because I'm gonna be like, dang, like, what's the point of doing all this if I can't enjoy life? But something that's really helped me is meal prepping. I am not a cook. I am not a chef. I do not necessarily enjoy cooking. Well, I've grown to appreciate it, and I've grown to enjoy cooking. I've grown to appreciate the culinary arts and whatnot. Not that what I call what I do is culinary. I always tell people that I don't really cook. I just kind of fix food, but yeah, I've come to really, really appreciate my meal prepping, and that's another thing. Like, time-wise, we always talk about how little time we have to do anything. So meal prepping is definitely a huge time saver for me, and it keeps me on track with eating well. Because if I had to come home and cook every single day in order to not eat out, then I will be eating out. Like, I can't come home and cook every day. So I do my meal preps. I meal prep on Sundays for the most part. Sometimes we'll go into a Monday. Meal prepping. But I usually do my meal preps on Sunday. I prep my lunch and my dinner. I usually make my breakfast in the morning, because I was doing this yogurt bowl for a very long time. I'm doing an egg scramble this week that is really good. But yeah, I'll prep my lunch and my dinner for the week. And usually, like I said, we're not being over restrictive. And this month I'm actually doing like a whole food diet, kind of, sort of, maybe modified, because I'm not necessarily doing whole 30. I think that's very restrictive. I am doing a whole food diet though, where I'm going to try to avoid processed foods, just kind of focus on the meat and potatoes, kind of focus on the things that are things that are simple, and kind of see what that does for um my journey, and just kind of see how I like that. Not something that I'm doing forever. I'm doing it for the month of January. Meal prepping is something that has helped me a lot. And I think prioritizing protein. I never really thought much about, like, I promise y'all, I look at the labels on food so much more now. I did not used to pay any attention to a nutrition label. Like, it was just there for decoration. But I definitely look at those nutrition labels now. And y'all should start looking too. If not for anything else, just to get familiar with the way that these macros are working in food. But I think that is also something that's really important. Last thing, as far as what has worked for me, as far as tracking and things like that, for the longest time, I did not get on the scale. I think that was something that was very important for me, because as somebody, again, who had been overweight, who had been plus size, that number it was not very fun to look at for a very long time. I used to find myself obsessively stepping on a scale, obsessively trying to see if I lost a pound here or there. But it can be very discouraging, especially when you feel like you've been putting in a lot of hard work and you don't see that number moving, and you don't see any progress being made, even though you have been putting in the effort. And that could be very discouraging. So it was very important for me to take a step back from that and not step on the scale, and to instead track my progress in other ways, which was for me taking pictures. I take pictures at the gym every single day, and there's also some anxiety that could arise around that. I don't necessarily have any qualms about it now. I finish my workout, I take my pictures, I get on down. I have plenty of gym pictures, and I usually do it in the same pose. I've made a couple of little collages. I don't know where I'm gonna put these pictures, wherever they end up. But yeah, taking pictures was something that was really good for me. I mean, I like taking pictures of myself anyway, but taking pictures of myself after my workout has been something that has worked for me as far as tracking. Because realistically, the number on the scale doesn't matter. You're not really worried about the number on the scale. The number on the scale is just a number on the scale. But I think that realistically, if we're being honest with ourselves, we care a lot more about how we look. Take progress pictures, and it'll definitely help you see your progress a little better. Day 1 to day 2, your progress is not going to be super noticeable. But if you take a picture like 8 months from now, and then look at a picture 8 months later, then you're going to be able to see that difference. You're going to be able to see more muscle definition. You're going to be able to see that you lost a little bit of weight. You're going to be able to see that you're wearing that same outfit, but it fits a little bit different now. And that's another thing that has kind of helped me with tracking my progress and seeing kind of where I am is my clothes. It is bittersweet. My clothes are fitting very different now. A lot of my clothes are way too big. I have plenty of clothes that I need to get rid of. That's one of my resolutions in the new year, is to upgrade my wardrobe, partially because a lot of my clothes just don't resonate with me anymore, but also because a lot of them no longer fit. Pay attention to things like that. Like, pay attention to the way your clothes are fitting. Like, just pay attention to how you feel. That's really what's going to be the real indicator of progress, and kind of where you're going. People will also notice. I think that the trainer at the second trainer that we had at my gym, he actually pulled me to the side one day, and he was like, "Hey, you're looking very toned. You've made a lot of progress. Like, do you want to do an in-body scan?" Which I did when I onboarded. And I think that was the first time that I realized that I had actually lost a decent amount of weight. I think that at that time I had lost, I want to say, about 40 pounds. That was about a year and a half after I started. Next, I will talk about My tips briefly for now. I may talk a little bit more about this at the gym, after the gym, whatever the case may be. But what I would tell anyone that ask, or if I could go back to the beginning of my fitness journey, what I would tell myself to make sure that I can be consistent and kind of get the results that I'm looking for. So first of all, as I've mentioned multiple times throughout this video, find something that you can enjoy. Do not do something that makes you miserable and that is inconvenient for you. For me, that's going to the gym, lifting weights after work. That's what I do. A little bit of cardio at the end, about 20 minutes. Now, this month, I'm doing a little bit more cardio because, like I said, it's levels to it. You evolve, you do whatever. I go to the gym. I go after work. I lift weights primarily. I do a little bit of cardio at the end. That's what I love to do. That's what I'm doing, and that's what's working. Don't do something that makes you miserable. Second, do not be afraid to be a beginner. Because at the end of the day, everybody started somewhere. The new year just passed. I posted on my little Instagram story for the first time in 2 years. And I said, hey, all you gym rats out there, you be kind to the new year newbies. Because you had a first day too. And on your first day, people was probably looking at you crazy. But you did what you did. And now you're here. Do not be afraid to start something new, whether it be at the beginning of the year, whether it be at the end of the year, whether it be on your birthday, even if it's just summertime, even if it's like, hey, I'm finna do whatever and I'm finna get summertime fine, whatever. As long as you stick to it after the fact and don't stop after the summer, I'm not gonna judge you. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. You get out there and if you want to do it, you do it. And you worry about being a pro later on. My third piece of advice, honestly, it should have been my first. Because this is probably the most important thing and the reason I think that I have been able to be so consistent and so positive with my fitness journey. Let me get a little closer. Speak kindly to yourself. Do not speak to yourself in a negative manner. Do not speak about your body in a negative fashion. I don't care if you're playing. I don't care if you think it's a joke. Don't do it. Because you internalize that. You think it's funny to call yourself a big back and you gonna think that that's gonna make you do something. You think that's gonna make something shake. You think that's gonna get you somewhere. Let me tell you something. It's not. Not for me. Like I said, I should have put this in the what worked for me section. Like I said, my first piece of advice. But I think that is very important. And as y'all see in my videos, I put quotes at the end. I have a motivation app on my phone that sends me quotes throughout the day. Like I said, I'm love language, words of affirmation. I would be nowhere if I constantly talked about how much I hated my body, if I constantly talked about how much how much of a big back I was, or anything like that. Like I would be nowhere because I would have discouraged myself and I'd be like, okay, well, you always been like this, so this is just what it is, and there's nothing that could be done about it. But it was very important for me to speak kindly to myself. And there's a quote, I don't know whose quote it is, I may try to find it. It's probably gonna be my quote for this video, but work out because you love your body, not because you hate it, because nothing good comes from hatred. You have to do it with love. You have to do it with intention, and you have to do it with a positive mentality. So that is probably my most, I really want to scream into this microphone right now because I feel so strongly about that. I'm gonna say the N word again. Nutrition. I saw much more progress in what I was doing when I started being more intentional about what I was eating and being more mindful. And that doesn't mean that you have to be super restrictive. Do what works for you. Take it slow. make it work for you. Take it slow and not compare your journey to other people's. Like I mentioned earlier, I deleted my social medias for about 2 years. I just downloaded Instagram back at the beginning of this year, mostly because I do plan on moving into some more short form content. I'm also re-download TikTok eventually, but I'm not ready to take that leap just yet. But do not compare your journey to other people's, because again, comparison is a thief of joy. That's also another quote that you'll hear. But comparison really is a thief of joy. And if you're watching somebody else and being like, hey, like they're doing this, they're doing that, and they're getting better results than I am, then that also has the potential to discourage you and make you feel like you're wasting your time. And last but not least, the namesake of this video. It maybe should have been in the earlier category, but I did really want to end on this note because I feel like this just really embodies what my fitness journey has been, what it has become, and kind of what has worked for me as a concept. Play the long game. Play the long game. I'm not doing any fad diets. I'm not doing anything super restrictive. I'm not trying to lose 50 pounds in 3 months. I am making long term sustainable lifestyle changes so that I can be the person that I want to be, so I can have the body that I want to have, so that I can do the things that I want to do. Because at the end of the day, for me, and different strokes for different folks, different things work for different people, but for me personally, I would not be able to stick to something that felt conditional, that felt like, okay, well, if I'm not this certain weight by this certain time, then I failed. I haven't failed anything. I am here. I'm doing what works for me. I am working out. I am meal prepping, and I am seeing results from that. But these results didn't happen overnight. I honestly feel like within the past couple months, I've been going to the gym for over 2 years now. And honestly, I really feel like just recently, I've really been able to notice the real progress that I've been able to have. And that's not to say that I haven't had progress in the past, because again, I try to be very mindful about how I'm tracking and kind of how I'm approaching, kind of measuring my progress. But don't do things just to lose a certain amount of weight by a certain time. Don't do things that are super restrictive that you're not going to be able to sustain. I am making long-term lifestyle changes that will ultimately get me to where I want to be, and honestly where I am now. I'm very happy with it. I've been happy with where I was for a very long time. Well, I won't say very long time, it's been 2 years, but I was happy with where I was on day one, and I'm happy with where I am now, and I'm happy to see where I'm gonna go. That's what I have. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment, let me know kind of if anything I said resonates with you. Let me know what your fitness journeys have been like, what's worked for you, what hasn't worked for you. Tell me some stories, tell me some lore, if you will, and let me know if y'all like this video. Let me know if y'all enjoy just kind of me talking a little bit about my life, kind of where I am. Like I said, the whole point in this channel for me was to be able to create community and to be able to talk about how we're figuring this stuff out, figuring it out in our 20s and whatnot, and kind of figuring out this thing called life. So let me know. I wanted to be really intentional this year about creating more meaningful content, and I think that this is a conversation that's very meaningful to me at this point in my life. So let me know if y'all like this. Let me know what other topics you all would like me to talk about. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure you leave me a like, leave me a comment, let me know what you like and what you would like to see more of in the future. And if you like me, you could subscribe and come back next time I post a video. Thanks again for watching. Bye.